Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are diving down the biggest rabbit hole of fraud and scams I could have ever imagined. And it's all in the football shirt space. Welcome. Basically, before we get into this, we're all aware of the amazing value behind Matchworn football shirts. The value in the shirt being that the player has actually worn the shirt. Matchworn. For context here, players will have several shirts prepared for them for a game. However, they won't wear every single one of them. This is the difference between a player prepared shirt. My own experience recently diving into the Messi rabbit hole has been a player prepared Messi shirt will go from anywhere between $500 to say $700. Whereas a match worn Messi shirt will go from anywhere between $5,000 and like $500,000. Depending on the game, depending on the event. The value is completely in whether they've worn it or not. That's what people want, the shirts they've worn. Match worn. And it is in this slight detail that things get very, very murky. Take this example. Looks good, doesn't it? Sold for $7,500 at an auction. However, the auction description, as you can see on screen, has zero proof of where the jersey was sourced. There's no proof of provenance. And also, the dots on the shirt pattern do not match up. The product code on the shirt can't be matched, and the badges can't be matched. There's maybe a chance the shirt was worn.
Chance would be a fine thing.
But from the photo matching I've been able to do, and the fact there's no provenance at all, the only value in this is that it's clearly a player issued for a French Cup game, and also the listing saying it was match worn. I feel like people are pushing this auction up and bidding thousands because a listing says match worn with zero proof. And this listing with the flimsiest provenance, I can guarantee, is just the tip of the iceberg.
Let the games begin.
But also quickly, before I go any further, you're probably wondering, why does this even matter? Like, it's not my money. But the problem is, US investors are now getting heavily into the football space and the match-worn space because there's a huge growth market. The same thing is currently happening in the sports card scene. More and more money is going into soccer, which is boosting their prices up. Well, not currently, the market's down for everything. But long term, the plan is that soccer is seen as the huge growth market with the 2026 World Cup going to be over there. And the same thing is being shown in match-worn shirts. A lot of the big match-worn shirts either go to Asia or America. The problem being, obviously, this person has purchased this shirt for $7,500 plus the auction fee, so probably around $9,000, with the aim to then sell it on for a profit in a few years. Logically, you have to get in the mind of that's what most people are doing. Not everyone like me is just wanting to buy a Messi shirt to hang on a wall. And the issue with this is they're just going to sell it as match worn again in the future because they purchased it from an auction house that said it was match worn. Do you see what the issue is here? Because there's no proof it was match worn anyway. They've spent thousands. They're going to sell it to someone else for thousands. And it goes through this weird chain of events where it becomes more and more valuable with the authenticity being like no credibility at all.
You are nothing.
And that's happening for thousands of items. Like, this is not just a Messi example. Like, this goes across several football players. There's even match-worn specific shirt websites that take me back. Take this example on screen. Also, this is just my opinion. I can also accept that I might be wrong. Don't sue me, please. This is just my opinion. The auction houses might be right. I might be wrong. But there's also other people that have the same opinion as me. Don't sue me, please, because I've got no money left. I've been sent this listing so many times because if you Google match-worn Lionel Messi, this is one of the first examples that comes up. So naturally, people have been looking to find one for me, and then they send me this listing like, Ellis, have you seen this one? Yes, I have. And you can see why people send me it. It's a solid enough price considering he scored in this game, and it's a Champions League game. There's dirt marks on the shirt. There's even match-worn smells evident. And it's also from a site that sells loads of match-worn shirts, and I'm sure they sell loads of genuine match-worn shirts as well. However, this one raises my suspicions because yes, there are dirt marks all over the shirt, but every single image I can find of Messi online, there's only one dirt mark that can be matched, and that's in between the 1 and the O on the back. This shirt doesn't have a dirt mark in between the 1 and the O on the back. It's a game against Ajax in the Champions League in 2015. And I also emailed this website about 7 months ago asking them for proof of provenance and more photos of the shirt. Never got replied to. So does that Should we read into that, or maybe they just don't check their emails? I don't know. But why is there dirt marks all over the shirt when, like I said, if you look at every image or video clip of Messi from that game, there's only one dirt mark prominent, and it's in between the 1 and the O, and that dirt mark isn't there?
Something ain't right.
Also, yes, I am incredibly aware this is a mental thing to be doing at 24 years of age. Grow up. On the flip side of this quickly, you're probably wondering how on earth can you actually prove a shirt is genuine if auction houses aren't doing their due diligence? What can we do as buyers? And to be honest, the only way you can ever have a really good peace of mind from it all is getting from a player's collection. Even sometimes, like, I'm not to use Messi as an example again, but there's been rumours he has hundreds of shirts prepared for a game, which maybe seems a bit over dramatic, but if he does, and he gives it to another player, is this footballer then going to be like, oh, I got a Matchworn Messi shirt? Because, you know what I mean? Like, because it was prepared for him, in their eyes, it's probably like, because they're players, they're probably like, what doesn't make any difference to me. But if they sell it in future, it does make a difference. Getting it directly from a player handed to you at a game is obviously the best way. But we can't all be 8-year-old children with a sign. So actually what you can do is photo matching. And you're wondering probably, Ellis, what do you mean for this? I've referenced it a few times in the past now. Let's use this example on screen right now, and it's going to be another Messi example. Take this one from one of the most iconic celebrations of all time, the Lionel Messi one where he held up the shirt like that. As you can see, that went to auction and sold for $400,000, and it went because it had photo matching. As you can see, the product code at the bottom right of the shirt matches up with the shirt that was listed. A product code is only ever given to one shirt. And also, it's a Nike thing. So if you have a player that's wearing a Nike shirt, it's probably easier to find a match. Still can sometimes be a bit difficult trying to actually find an image showing the code in full detail. But if it's a Nike shirt, you can see the code is matched up. Bish bash bosh, he wore that shirt because it could only have ever been specific to one shirt. Something else you can do if you can't match the product code is the patterning on the shirt. Something like dots in numbers is really useful. How much color goes. This is where it's mental. As a buyer, we should not have to do like a porn star's, I've got a friend who knows this. Do not demonetize me. I'm on about the show. I'm on about the show, YouTube. I'm not on about dirty things other than the Matchworn Messi shirt against Ajax. Shouldn't have to be. I know a guy who then goes away and you have to analyze every detail and the fiber from it from a seller. That should be the auction house's job. They're charging you a 20 to 30% premium on top of the item. For what? What are they... That's your job. That's your job.
I am flabbergasted.
I shouldn't have to go to Google Images and troll through thousands of images to be like, he didn't wear that. That should be on you. That's on you. Just listing a shirt on an auction website that is player prepared and putting the title as Matchworn should not be able to be done because it's scamming thousands of people. I should know. I'm people. It happened to me. Which is why I'm clearly very annoyed. To be very clear, I've seen hundreds of Matchworn Lionel Messi shirts go to auction. I'm clearly very much interested in doing this, but this does not just apply to Messi. It applies to every Matchworn shirt there is. It is such a murky space that it just applies, it's just across the board. It doesn't just apply to this one player. And I would honestly say, from the hundreds of Messi shirts I've seen go to auction, 95% of them, I've been able to look at them and go, that doesn't match at all. Which is fucking mental. People are being defrauded and scammed out of thousands. And like I said, this is the tip of the iceberg. This isn't just a football or soccer specific thing. This applies to every sport. It's happening everywhere. The only place it really doesn't happen, I think, is the NHL. Because in the hockey shirts, it has a sticker saying it's been worn. I believe Roma do the same thing as well. AS Roma, they have match-worn or match-issued stickers in their shirts. And if clubs could do this, it would make the whole space a lot easier to deal with. It's why I believe I was given a lifetime guarantee with the shirt I purchased, right? Because the seller didn't expect me to do any more research. I believe the seller has done this before, and loads of sellers have done this before. They've sold a shirt, and they've just been like, well, the person buying it is just going to take my word for it. How many people out there have spent thousands on match-worn shirts that aren't match-worn? That's the problem here. How deep does this go? Because I guarantee it goes fucking mentally deep.
Yeah, 5 inches deep in your bum.
All we can do is analyse photos of the shirt, try and find a match of a product code, try and look at the dots in a shirt, send it off to companies like photo matching companies that can give you the definitive proof. That's all we can do as buyers. But I think that's insane. That is, I'm sorry if you're thinking that this is a weird video. It's insane. We shouldn't have to do that. That's not on the buyer. There needs to be some sort of way this can be stopped, because I genuinely do not know how deep this goes. I don't know how many people are being scammed. It's not just these messy examples, to be very clear. Match-worn auctions, I would honestly say avoid them. Like, avoid them unless you're wanting a specific player prepared shirt. For example, I have a video going out this weekend where I've purchased a very cool player prepared shirt because it's unique and it's a shirt that I like. I like the design. I don't care about the player who wore it. Unless it's direct from a club, unless there's a letter of authenticity from the club or from a player's collection or even a player's family, I really think it's best to avoid it. That's my opinion at the moment, because there's not enough regulation. It's just dangerous to be involved with. And I'd say more likely than not, you're going to get burned unless you have the time to do these mental researches into shirts. I think the buyer is most likely going to get scammed, and there should be more done from these auction houses. To be very clear, that messy example at the start I provided, there was Vinicius Junior shirts, there was I think a Neymar shirt. There was a lot of shirts in the auction that interested me at first. I'll be honest, I was going to make a video on it. I couldn't photo match any of them. I could not find any one smudging of proof. Is that a word? No proof I could find for any of them. I couldn't do it. So I didn't make the video because I was like,
calm down.
I would love to dive into it more. I would love to go out and meet an auction house and ask what they're doing more about, because I feel like I'm at the tip of something here. I really feel like there's so much more I can do with this. I just don't know how I do it, because no auction house is going to want to entertain this. No seller's going to want to entertain this. It's not in their interest. But oh my god, this just pieces of fabric that people are being scammed thousands out of. Avoid and do your research is my advice. I've been Ellis. Done a whole video ranting about match-worn shirts, and the next video I'm doing is a match-worn shirt auction. But you'll see why. You'll see why very soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye.